Welcome to Untitled Tarot. This is the tarot forecast for Aries for November 2021. So Aries, we are now, just today, 24th of October, in the season of Scorpio. So let's see. So we're in the element of water. A lot of emotions going around at this time. Scorpio is a deep diver, so you might find yourself bringing up a lot of stuff that's been buried. It can be treasure, it can be trash, it can be unpleasant. However, this is the time of year. We have All Souls Day, All Saints Day at the end of the month. This is the time of year that the veil between the seen and unseen worlds is very thin. So we may have a lot of activity that reminds us and harks back to the past. So we'll see. I'll just put these out and then I'll tell you what your energy is for the next 4 weeks. And we have the World. So the World is a major card, and the World talks about cycles ending. Major cycles, it's a major card, so it's major ending. Things are coming to a close, loose ends are being snipped, and we will be ready for a new cycle. So let's get into it. Where you are right now, Aries, is big card, major card, Temperance, divine time. So divine time is exactly what it means. It's the right time for things. If you've been waiting for something major to happen in your life, to get things going, now is the right time. Absolutely. And especially when we have the World as an energy, it's like one phase is finished, and so now is the right time to achieve or to set in motion that which you've been waiting for. Now this is projects, but relationships, it covers, you know I do general readings here, so it covers whatever it means to you. And your job is just to decipher whether that fits, which it will have some bearing on, because that is the art of the tarot. So also this Temperance card governs the sign of Sagittarius, which we have after Scorpio, which is a very freewheeling, positive, outlooking sign. So let's see what has brought Temperance or divine time into your lives at the moment, Aries. And we have the High Priestess, another big card. So the High Priestess is a very spiritual card, but it's also the card for the sign of Pisces, which is a highly intuitive cousin of Scorpio. So intuitive and intuitive. So whatever happens this month, Aries, it is a time for you with the High Priestess. Actually, she kind of sets the scene to say, trust your intuition. Keep your own counsel. It's not a time to be telling people all your plans. Keep it to yourself. It's also a time for secrets to be divulged. So it goes hand in hand with the water sign and the Scorpio sign of things rising to the surface. It could well be your relationship with your significant other. And if that's the case, it's a very karmic relationship. It's meant to be, but like all relationships, it goes through phases and ups and downs. But this High Priestess talks about closeness and those who have, luckily enough, found their special soulmate. So keeping things to oneself. Now this card also influences the rest. So remember, 3 big happenings for the next 4 weeks, Aries. Okay, let's have a look at the background. So what was happening in September, October? The Hermit. Ooh, another big card. Wow, Aries, this is the start. The Hermit talks about, it's the sign of Virgo, but it's all about, it's sort of those who work in healthcare, those people who are very much, their focus in life is around service, detail, curing people, all that kind of thing. But overriding that is, Hermit is the card of just sitting it out, watching from the sidelines, being wise, not jumping in, having your 50 cents worth. It's about, it's learning that patience, when to act and when to just sit back and wait and see and watch and observe what's going on. Very important time. So if you have been feeling like that, or had been feeling like that, Aries, that is exactly what you were meant to do. Just keep shut and just observe. And out of observation and stillness comes wisdom. It's a big lesson. Very interesting, but that's still hanging around, and you've got some really heavy hitters so far for October, so it's looking quite like a very interesting month. Recent influences. We have the King of Wands, so we have the travelling king, the travelling man. Of course, he's a king, so therefore he can indicate this is a male in your life. You're either travelling to, or he's travelling to you or from you. He's very much a leader, this man. He's a very creative person, very clever, but then with that he can come across as arrogant, know-it-all, all that sort of thing. But we all know that there's a flip side to everybody. So, but this man is he's a kind of a very worldly person who's sort of in your life, around your life. A fire sign, it could well be a fire sign, but overall I read the King of Wands. He's kind of like an international troubleshooter, if you like. He's got very broad horizons. His reach is far on the globe. He's not a stay-at-home domesticated. He's happy when he's on the move. So whoever that is for you, he is quite a feature with everything that we've talked about this month. Okay, let's jump to the lesson that you'll be learning to be mindful of in the next 4 weeks, Aries. And we have the Page of Wands. Page of Wands is very positive. So if you've been waiting on the good news, which it looks like this has been a cycle of waiting for everything just to be so, and as human beings of this time in our lives, we're not a very patient lot, are we? We want everything. Everything's all about, I want it now, I've got to have it now. We're not really accustomed to having to wait. However, this card talks about the brilliance of being able to wait for that good news to arrive at the right time, rather than when you want it specifically, or whether you feel like it's got to come to you. This only comes to you after a period of, it's sort of like a very big universal exercise in patience, observation, just divine. So good news on the way, or good news has arrived. If it hasn't arrived, it will arrive, but it's full of action. It's a fire sign, so we always have action. We have lots of forward moving energy. Recently we've had planets that have been retrograde, which have really annoyed a lot of people because things have gone haywire. However, now those planets, Mercury and I think the other one was Mars, have started to proceed forward again, so things are a lot lighter and more apt to progress rather than stagnant vibe type of thing. Okay, let's move into the next near future. And we have the end of a family curse, or in other words, the end of a difficult period. Family curse is often, it's with swords, it's air, so it's often a lot of manufactured brain thought or overthinking, quarrels within families or groups of workers, all this sort of things, obstacles. but all in the air, so it can become quite toxic. But this is sort of saying that that period is coming to an end. But overall, you've gained a lot from getting through that rough and tumble storm of the swords, and the swords always brings out that more human side of nature, where we just kind of want. We want it when we want it. So that could be family, or it could be indeed your other groupings, your work issues, and those things have come to a climax at 10, so new things will replace. 10 is the ultimate finish. It's the end of a minor cycle. Okay, let's see what's happening that you're not realising. And we have this man sitting here, the King of Cups. Now, he's sitting here where you're not realising, so this might be your significant other once again. Maybe you, knowing Aries, your action people, you want to work, you want to move, you want things happening, but all the while this one's been sitting there in the corner. Quite an interesting king, this one. He's very emotional, so he's that sort of water sign type of person. Even if he isn't, he's more a brooding type. He's the one that he holds on to a lot of emotional stuff from the past. So whoever he is in your life, make sure this month, Aries, as a fire sign and a go-getter, that you pay special attention to this man if he is in your life, or whoever this may be, because somehow he's frozen in time with an emotional issue. And a lot of our dear men folk, they're not in the mode of talking about their feelings. It's just not really what they do, is it? They have other ways of expression, and we have to be mindful of that, but also check in on that sort of person, because especially in the time of Scorpio, these emotions can run high. Okay, let's see how others see you, or how they're projecting onto you. Working well with others, things going well in the work environment, building bridges, building structures, good foundations, but it's also a heavily laced spiritual learning card. The teacher and the student sort of energy. Which one are you? And in this time, I guess, with this one underneath, this King of Cups here, maybe it's time to examine what actually is going on in your relationship, perhaps Aries, with that significant other. So we have to be mindful of what's going on. What is that dynamic at the moment? Because this is a very good card to sort of bring that up to the surface and being mindful. It's particularly, this can be family members as well. It could be your son. It's anybody male, in terms of this is who they're talking about. So mindfulness really this month, Aries, especially in terms of Aries. You're on the move, you're on the go, you've got everything happening, you're moving, you're here, you're there, you're everywhere. But then sometimes you can sort of forget about those quieter ones that just sit and say nothing. Positive feelings. Oh gosh, Aries, I've been going on and on. 10 of coins, so financial stability. Everything's very stable for you, and you understand that. So you've got 2 10s here. So 2, you've got your mind stuff coming to an end, all that horrific mind energy going everywhere. But you've also got this stability that you're feeling quite happy about. So everything's actually going along well whilst we think on. Nice card to have. But what will bring in this next 4 weeks, I'm feeling like there'll be a lot of emotional stuff. So you need to scrape that desk off, Aries, and make a bit of room for those in your emotional environment. Let's see the outcome. And we have the 3 of Cups. So we have celebrations. We have 3 people in a relationship. We have a bit of a threesome going on here. And however that translates, but also it's cups, so it's water, so it's energy, and it's about sort of balancing that energy as well. The 3 in it can be your family life, your work life, and then one other, and it's like 3 sometimes can be a crowd, can't it? I'm just going to throw an clarifier on top of that 3 of Cups, and the clarifier is the Queen of Cups. So once again, we have it finishing with emotion, so it's almost, you know, sort of really making you hyper aware that this is indeed an emotional month. It's time to take care of those around you in the environment in an emotional sense. Everything else is going quite well for you. You've done a lot of box ticking, but now we're talking about nearest and dearest, Aries, whilst you're in your big hurry. Okay, let's see what your lesson is. I'm sorry, this is an extended reading, but that's just how it's worked out. Gratitude is your message. If you want to turn your life around, try thankfulness. It will change your life mightily. So a lot to be thankful for. A lot of emotional stuff here. Thanks, Aries. It looks really great. You've done really well. Second last month of the year. Push on. Thank you so much for listening.